So the reason why I'm driving around in traffic today is because somebody asked me to film a video of my Ford Copilot system driving in traffic. And I don't mind doing that at all. It is a pretty cool experiment. Now, I don't have the Blue Cruise. You can see here there is no Blue Cruise sensors on my dashboard. I have just the standard Copilot, and the big difference is Copilot is hands-on. You have to have your hands on the wheel. Blue Cruise has the option to be hands-free, and it has upgraded LiDAR mapping, so it could possibly be more refined. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get over here in the left lane. Yes, I'm going to be a left lane hugger today, because to have a good example of this, Copilot needs to have 2 lane markings, and in the right lane over there, there's no outside lane marking. So here on the screen, you can see the blue circle, hopefully, and that means that Blue Cruise, I'm going to call it Blue Cruise, I mean Copilot. Copilot is active, and when there's a little car displayed in front of you, that means the radar or the cameras can detect the car in front of you. So right now the car is doing all the steering, and the gap distance is set to minimum. One thing that there's a few things that I actually prefer on Copilot over Autopilot. For one, there is never phantom braking. Now, coming from a Tesla, man, especially I had the FSD beta at the end when I had a Tesla, and there was phantom braking all the time. Now, maybe that's getting ironed out. I haven't owned a Tesla in a few months, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But, I mean, it was bad. It made me almost not want to use Autopilot when I had people in the car with me, because it was kind of embarrassing. But the Ford Copilot never does that. There is no phantom braking in the Ford Copilot. I can't speak for Blue Cruise because I've never driven a Mach-E with Blue Cruise equipped. Now, we are still just cruising down the road here on Copilot. It is driving itself, maintaining its lane, no problems at all. You can see the gap distance with the car in front of me. Now, something I've noticed with Blue Cruise, I did it again. Something I've noticed with Copilot over Autopilot is when someone would cross the road in front of you, even if it was a block in front of you, sometimes Autopilot, actually most of the time, would totally freak out if somebody made a maneuver in front of you. Blue Cruise, Copilot tends to, I don't know if it just doesn't see it or if it's ignores it more. So that was kind of a hard break, but it did what it's supposed to do. The car in front of me stopped. The Copilot went ahead and stopped too before I ran into the back of them, so that's always a good thing. If you have to slam on the brakes, you got to slam on the brakes. So far, it's driving just fine in its lane here. Another thing that I've noticed that I do like about Copilot is when somebody exits your lane, it resumes very quickly. There's almost no lag. As soon as their tire gets over that yellow line, the car will go. Also, see, watch this, okay? It's slowing down, now it's resumed. No lag whatsoever. I do love that. The Tesla Autopilot sometimes could be a little bit slow before speeding back up or resuming. Plus, another thing, I know I'm just comparing this to Tesla, but that's what I know. See how quickly it resumed? It does a really good job at not dilly-dallying. I don't know of a better word to say. We're going to go up Main Street just a little bit longer, and then I will turn back around and go down Main Street again. I just wanted to do this because there is a lot of traffic right now, and I just kind of just cruised through town, no problems at all. I didn't have any cancellations. I didn't have any interventions. Copilot stayed on the whole time, and it's reading the speed limit signs. I do have that setting on, so it's about to turn to 55, if you can see here, the 55 mph speed limit, and then if you look in there, boom, it just went up to 55 all by itself. I know that's not groundbreaking technology, but it is useful. See, that guy slowed down, but the car didn't really react to him because he got over that line very quickly. I'm just going to turn around here and head back into town. I'm going to get over here in the left lane, and now I'm going to activate Copilot. It has set itself to the proper speed. Now all I have to do is just sit here with my hand on the wheel. Okay, I'm going to say another difference. It does not hit the brakes quick enough. Now I do like how close it gets to the other car. I always seemed like in the Tesla I was a little bit too far back, but the Ford does get a little bit closer, but it doesn't start slowing down as soon for like that truck that was stopped. And see, as soon as he got out of the way, it continued. Now I'm going to have to deactivate it because there is no red light detection. And you can see it is active, and it does see the car in front of me. I don't know if maybe the gap spacing affects that. Maybe it would have started slowing down sooner. Okay, I'm going to speed this back up to 40. Nobody drives the speed limit here. It is 35, but nobody goes 35. Maybe the gap would have caused it to slow down sooner, but anyway, that's just one of the negatives. I've said a bunch of the positives, but there are negatives to the system too. I don't want to sound like a sales pitch. Tesla Autopilot is really good. I'm not dissing it. I'm just coming at you with my knowledge of both systems. Alright, so that guy moved out of the way. It's going to go back up to 40 until it gets close enough to the guy in front of me to slow down. Still no problems. It's just following the lines, going down the road just like it should. I'm going to turn the gap up to maximum just for test here. And I want to see with the gap set to maximum, if we pull up to a stoplight, does it still get as close to the car in front, or does it leave a bigger gap? So hopefully we'll get to this light and stop before it turns green. And it does seem to be getting just as close to the car in front of me. As the speed lowers, so as the speed lowered, it let the gap get closer and closer. And so now it did lag way behind. So I'm going to set this gap back to minimum. Oh, it must have saw another speed limit sign because it changed my limit back down to 30. Alright, let's see what it does here. Okay, see? It went on. As soon as that car got out of the way, it went on. It didn't freak out and wait and be weird. It did the right thing. I'm going to turn in here to Dollar General because I got to pick up a 9-volt battery. I'll be back real quick. So I'm back in my car, and I just went in for a battery, and yes, I got a battery, but why? What in the heck? I just went in for a battery. Now I got some lawn soil tiller. I got some cat food and some Coffee Mate. I'm like, all I needed was a battery. Now I got all this stuff. I spent like $28. What I should have just spent like $4.95. Here comes your green energy down the road. Those things are huge. 4 or 5 of those a day go through our town. There's big wind fields north of Altus, Oklahoma. Up around Weatherford and Hobart. All up in there, there's a whole bunch of wind farms. I'm not exactly sure why this guy's going south. So over here, there is no outside line. Sometimes it'll activate here and sometimes it won't because it can see the edge of the road. So, like right now, it's not active. It would just go into the other lane. You can tell it doesn't know where the lines are because both of these, there it goes. It just decided it knew where the road was. But it does not do a good job without an outside lane. Sometimes it can see the curb and it does okay, but there's a lot of parking spaces back there where the road gets wide and it does not do a good job there. Okay. It gave me an alert there saying it couldn't tell where the side of the road was, but it didn't cancel. It stayed activated. All I did was touch the wheel. I guess I didn't have my hand on the wheel, so it didn't know I was paying close attention and it wanted my immediate attention. So I gave it a touch and it continued on down the road. So we're going to go ahead and turn here and we're going to go down this road, this direction, and see how it performs. When it's just blue in the front, that's adaptive cruise control. When it's blue on the sides of the car in that little bubble shape, then it means it is auto steer, whatever you want to call it, co-pilot. So right now it's having some trouble because there's no edge line on the road, but it is still doing it. Okay, it just canceled. So you can see the gray lines there. It's not sure that it knows where the road lane is. Okay. Now it decided it wanted to try again. So you can see here, I am not doing anything for the car. I'm just lightly touching the wheel so it knows I'm here. Okay, it wants to take the turn lane. Nope, it decided it wasn't going to take the turn lane. So that's one of the things I mentioned in the previous video on the highway driving. If I'm really close to a car in front of me, okay, let me rephrase that. If I'm really close to a car, okay, resume control. So it thought it wasn't going to be able to do whatever it was doing and it asked for help. So that's fine. Now, when that resume control started yelling at me, it didn't instantly give out. Like normally when it says canceled, it literally quits and it will not steer anymore. Just now when that resume control came on, it was still steering until I touched the wheel. So it's kind of weird that it gives a louder warning when it's still steering. How do I want to say that? Y'all know what I mean. When it completely gives out and says canceled, it's kind of a quiet, small warning. But when it said resume control and it was still steering, see, it's steering right now even though it's not active. Sometimes it does that. It's not exactly sure, so it doesn't want to tell you it's doing it, but it is doing it. So right now, there's 2 green lines. So it knows where the lane is, but it doesn't want to drive since there's no outside lane marking. And that does happen sometimes. Now, it is actually driving, but only, see, it'll do the ping pong instead of actually steer the car. So I wasn't even on Blue Cruise and I got the warning, hey, touch the wheel. I wonder what would happen. I guess it would start just slowing down and turn on the flashers. But yeah, it wasn't happy that I wasn't holding the wheel. So if it looks like this with 2 greens on the side and a blue in the front, that means it's in regular lane, like emergency lane centering. We'll call it that. So it'll ping pong. But it's not like actively steering the car. I hope that makes sense. I call that ping pong mode. I'm gonna goose it. Oh yeah. Alright, so we are back on co-pilot. And it probably won't be happy about driving here because, again, there is no outside lane. I'm not going to touch the wheel. It's in ping pong mode. See, it turned orange and then guided me back this direction. Now, it's going to do the same thing. Of course, I'm going to get the angry warning here. Let's see what happens. It just ping-ponged off the center lane again. Oh, it ping-ponged again. I guess nothing's going to happen. If we were on full Copilot with the full circle, it would start beeping real quick and cancel. So I guess on adaptive cruise control in ping pong mode, it's just going to continue on forever. And we're bouncing again. These people behind me probably think I'm drunk. I'm going to go ahead and grab the wheel. I never actually crossed the line, but I did bounce off of it about 5 times. So that's new. I mean, it might not be new. I just learned about it just now. I didn't know in adaptive cruise control it would just continue driving forever. So that's interesting. If I passed out, it appears that it would just keep going until somebody stopped in front of me. Interesting. It's getting close to cotton season here in southwest Oklahoma. There's a nice looking Corvette. Alright, do y'all think it will pass this tractor? I'm going to put the speed up to 35 and we'll see if it will pass this tractor. Okay, it's hitting the brake, it's going. I'm not sure. I turned it off. It appeared that it was going to go on into the tractor. That was kind of scary. That is your example of city driving on Copilot. It is the lesser version of Blue Cruise. Everybody knows the word Blue Cruise and doesn't really know the word Copilot. But Copilot 360 is the basic, it would be comparable to basic autopilot, I guess. Blue Cruise really isn't comparable to full self-driving, so I'm not sure how to compare it to a Tesla person. But Copilot 360 is just the basic version of auto steer, and Blue Cruise is the more advanced version of auto steer. It does the hands-free. I know I said that earlier today, so I'm just rambling on. I like to do that, evidently. So, thanks for watching this video of some city driving on Copilot 360. I will see y'all in the next one.